Hey y'all, it's your girl Stephanie L, and I'm here today with another craft video. Now, normally when we think about crafts, we're thinking about all the paper crafts and everything, but I actually do journal as well, and this is another way that I express myself artistically. And when I tell you that bullet journaling has really changed my life, it really has. But more on that a little later. What you can see right now is the fact that I totally and utterly messed up this stamp. This was a beautiful layout, and I used my Altenew vintage flower stamp to do this, and it's just ghosted all everywhere. The flowers are like I stamped it like once, twice, maybe even three times to get the effect of it being over the 24th, oh well, under the 24th, but over the 25th, and it looks a hot mess. How can we fix this? How can we fix this, y'all? I'm going to attempt it. This is what this video is. This is my attempt to fix this stamp. I know a lot of times the planner girlies, we all like to have our stuff perfect, and if we can't, we just cut the page out. I'm not cutting no pages out this journal, boo. It's not gonna happen. So here's the strategy. I'm going to try to line this stamp up. I already masked off the 24th. That's what you see with the washi tape down there. I messed that up so that if I stamp on it, it'll stamp on that part and it won't show on the 24th underneath, and it should still show over the 25th, giving it that nice effect, giving it a little bit of like dimension right there. And then I'm going to try and heat emboss it. So let's see if that works. And then once I heat emboss it, I plan on adding detail back into it using like different really dark grays and blacks to make this a black flower, and with some gold embossing, and hopefully that makes it look a little bit more on purpose. And if it doesn't, well, we're just gonna live with it after that. Now with that being said, let's get back to bullet journaling. Not only has it kept me like on task with the things that I'm doing, and like planning out all the things that I want to do and that I want to get done, but it helps me like express myself creatively. Whenever I have a very like I don't know, like rigid job, so it sucks the soul out of you. And like this is a way to like suck it back out of the cosmos and put it back into my body. So I really appreciate that I've learned about bullet journaling and have added it into my life. Now, one thing about bullet journaling is that a lot of people are very afraid to mess up their journal. Like it's so permanent because like if you erase it, you can't really erase too well, or if you mess the lines up, then like can you hide it well? And I don't use like a white book. Mine is kind of creamish colored, and it's also a watercolor book, so all the paper in there has a little bit of texture to it. It's a little bit thicker, and you can't just erase up there, and especially you can't erase ink. So if you look at the flower here, again, this is the Altenew vintage flower, two flowers that are like the two flower stamp that's in that set, and I totally and utterly messed this up. Three times I tried to put this in the same spot, and I did not get it right. And it seems the only thing I did get right was not being able to stamp it very close to that border that I had created. You can see that like it's totally clear right there, but the rest of those flowers, they messed up. Now, I recently cleaned off my desk, so I can't really show you me heat embossing this big old flower because I had to go do it in the kitchen. Like, I had to go find my heat embossing gun, had to go figure out where everything was. So I had to go to a totally separate part of the house to heat emboss, or actually apply the heat to the page, and then it came back. So, and this is what it looks like. So you can see that I still kind of messed this up around the parts that I was trying to fix, especially right down there by the date, by the 25th. There's like no gold heat embossing. Now this was the first time I had ever used this stamp. Like I just broke it out the pack, so I am not sure like if that has anything to do with it. Maybe I'm not pressing it down hard enough. And then I realized that I used my stamping block, but with the stamping block I still didn't like line it up properly. Maybe it looks pretty good, but I can still see all that stuff. So at this point I just have to trust the process. I have no choice but to trust the process and keep going, keep flowing, and keep creating. And that's something that's really scary for a lot of us creators, because we will start something, we have the vision, and then in the middle of it, it's not looking like what it's supposed to look like. It's not the beautiful end piece that we had desired. So how do we get there? How do we match the vision with our current state? And honestly, I think that is a lot about life. I think life is like that. Maybe that's why a lot of us get scared trying to figure out life in general, because we had this end state and goal, and we don't know how to get to that end state, and then in the middle of it we're just scrambling trying to make something pretty, trying to make something that works. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to fill in all the spots where I think there's going to be the most color in these flowers. So I started off with the really, really light gray, which was N89, and all these are Tombows. These are my Tombow watercolor markers. So that N89 I did right down there by the border, and then I followed it up with N35 to do these dark grays that you see. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where I think the most color is going to be, and I'm going to get water to drag the color out. So I'm not sure if this is a method that everybody else's use, but this is what I'm using, and this is how I think it's going to kind of pan out for me. So just coloring in all the spaces, like I said, the N35, then the N89 to get the darker gray, and eventually I will pull that color out with the water. Now I'm going to pull in a third color, a darker color, which is N15. And right now, like I said, we're going to have to see where this goes, because this N15 is definitely darker than the other two grays that I used. And I'm still just filling in the dark spots. I think that I've filled in everything that I need to at this point. So now I'm going to break out my watercolor brush, and let's start getting this color the way I need it to be. So these are the brushes that I got from Michael's. I like these because you just add the water to the barrel of the pen, and you squeeze it out that way. Now I'll probably go to some more traditional watercoloring brushes, but I'm not the best at watercoloring. Like, I'm just like, I play around with water and markers. I'm not sure if I'm ready to go to the little paints that come in the tube, or I don't even think I can do the little paints that come in the palette that like you see at Walmart. I'm not even sure if I'm ready for that right now. I'm just dibbling and dabbling with the water and the watercolor markers because that works out for me. I understand that medium. At some point I'll branch out and get a little bit more adventurous, but I'm not there yet. And I think I kind of like the way that this is going. At this point, I'm just relying on the water to do what I needed to do, and for all the colors to mix in the way that I wanted them to. I wanted this to kind of look like one of those old style paintings that you see up in like people's homes, where it's like the dark backdrop or whatnot, and you have like the colorful flowers. I guess I inverted this. I'm just relying on the effect of the gold and the black to do their thing here. Like, that's all this is. And I'm guessing that once it dries it'll look a lot better, because we need like resuscitation right now. When it comes to these brushes, I am using like the really like sharp angled one. I found myself leaning on that one a lot. Now, if I had to guess, this is probably the detail brush. I don't think they were labeled when I first got them, except to say maybe uh, fine or bold or something like that, but I've lost the packaging and it's not on the barrel of the brush. And a lot of times, even if it was on the barrel of the brush, instead of putting water in all of the brushes, I just put water in one of the brushes and just switch the heads out, just screw them on, screw them off, and put it on to the barrel with the water in it, because I don't want these to mold. So if all of them have water in them and I don't use the water and then they just sit there, like, they eventually will mold. And I had one do that before. That's how I know. So I just switched out the barrels. Now, the other one, I don't know exactly what those are. Like I said, they're just bigger, bolder brushes. But you see, so you also know what colors I started off with. I think it was N15, N35, and N89. So what I'm doing is I have a little bit of water on an acrylic block on just out of frame, and I have a little bit of water up there, and every time my brush gets a little too dark, or if it's not picking up the color that I need it to, I just go over there and dip my brush into that water and see if I can create some kind of movement. Now the good thing is, even though I'm spreading out some of this color, the original stamp had a lot of detail in it. So I added like dark color into those details, and what I'm seeing is a lot of the detail from the stamp that I did manage to get on the page is staying there, and I'm able to spread the color out towards the rest of the petal. So I mean, it is giving what I wanted. Let's keep going. So right now I'm going to color in the green. Now this was my spread. This is the last week in December, and my colors for December were actually red, green, and gold. Like, you see that dark ochre over there on that small calendar? That's yeah, that was the color that I was using for gold. Now, so in this green is, I'm not sure if this is even the green from the rest of my spread, but I've tried to keep it on color. But once I had to use all these grays on this flower, it was a wrap. So this would just have to be the New Year's Eve black and gold flower with the green leaves on it. All in all, I think it came out pretty good. So I mean, this is going to be me for the week. So I appreciate y'all for being here, and thank you for watching my video. If you're still here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me a comment. Tell me what you think I could have done better for this. All right, y'all. Bye.